What could be so dangerous about a simple
dab?
Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode here at Sobriety University. On this channel we talk about addiction and recovery related topics. My name is Joel, and in this video we're going to be talking about the dangers of dabbing. So this isn't going to be a how-to, what steps to take kind of video. I'm just going to be sharing my experience with dabs and the consequences I learned from them, because although at first it was a way to get super fucking high, over time there were definitely some dangers and negative side effects that happened. And I think sharing about those is going to be really helpful, because I know a lot on this channel I talk about marijuana, and for some reason it just hit me recently that I haven't been talking about like dabbing, which was like a huge thing that I was into. And it was way more powerful than weed ever was. When I was using dabs, that's when some of the worst things in my life happened. So I'm really looking forward to talking more about this and kind of some of the pros, cons, dangers that come from it. So before we begin, like, comment, subscribe, and let's begin. So dabs, right? What is a dab? Well, for those that don't know, dabs or concentrates, wax, oil, shatter, those are other ways to say it. It's concentrated THC. So when you smoke weed, for example, you're smoking the flower, the bud, as they call it. And usually, nowadays it can get pretty high, but when I was smoking about 6+ years ago, and I'm in a small town, Madison, Wisconsin, so I'm not like in LA or any of the states where it's legalized. So in those states, the percentage of weed is much higher. So I was probably smoking maybe weed that had like 15% THC at the max. And that's like in a ratio sense. Now with dabs, you're looking at 70, 80, 90% THC. So it's concentrated. I don't know the exact process, but they refine it down and it becomes like an oil, and they extract all the THC from it. Depending on what kind of consistency, you can get like shatter, which is like really hard, like a rock. You can get kind of more gooey stuff, like that kind of looks like Laffy Taffy. And then there's like crumble, which is, it looks like breadcrumbs. So basically what you do, so this is kind of becoming a tutorial on how to smoke dabs. Not the point of this video, but anyway. So you take a little bit on this little stick and then you light up an iron nail with a blowtorch. So one of the first dangers of dabs I experienced is that I was getting so high off them, because you just get absolutely blitzed, that I couldn't get high off weed anymore. And that was kind of the first red flag that these were starting to become an issue, where I remember at the peak of it, I would wake up every morning, and of course the first thing I did was smoke weed. I'd have 3 joints laying down at my bedside. And because I was just smoking copiously at this point, I was selling drugs, weed, and so I just had an endless supply, and I would rip those 3 joints and I'd feel absolutely nothing, because my tolerance was so high from the concentrates that I just couldn't get high off weed anymore. And that was a red flag, because I started to become dependent on these concentrates, on the dabbing. So dependent, in fact, that I really stopped smoking weed because I couldn't get high off it anymore. And because of that, I became very addicted to the dabs. And for anybody who has gone through addiction, you probably know that eventually you kind of stop getting high. You stop getting the full effect, and it almost becomes like just like a daily habit kind of thing. You can't really get the same high as you did at the beginning, hence the analogy chasing the dragon. And so, like with heroin. And so that's what I was doing. I was chasing that dragon. I was chasing that first high, and I could not get it anymore. And as you guys know as well, you build up a tolerance to this stuff. You build up a tolerance to anything in life. Success, relationships, sex, you name it. And so I had a really high tolerance, and eventually, and this is where it got scary, is I couldn't really get high that anymore off the dabs. And so what was left when I can't like numb everything is I just started to, no matter what state I was in, I was always kind of in the conscious of the reality that I was in. And when I say reality, I mean my life situation. So my career, my relationships, I couldn't like hide from it anymore. Even when I was trying to get high, I couldn't cover it up anymore. And that was like a real scary moment, because I'm like, oh fuck, this ain't working anymore. What do? I couldn't afford to just, go jump ship and go somewhere where there was stronger weed. And who knows, I might have gotten addicted and built up a tolerance to the stronger stuff as well. So it was a real kind of eye opener. And it was when I really started to make changes was when I realized that I can't get stoned anymore. No matter how much I smoke, it's just basically just like this empty funnel. And again, very scary. So that was the big danger. Now, was it kind of a blessing in disguise? Yes, because it led me to the point where I'm like, okay, I gotta quit because it just isn't worth it anymore. I was just getting headaches, I was getting paranoid, you name it. So the other danger that comes from dabbing, it can get one so high that functioning becomes basically impossible. And so that's kind of what I realized too, is that because I would get so stoned that I couldn't really go, interact with the real world. With weed, I kind of could, if I'm being honest. I could smoke, I could go, the high would wear down after like an hour or so, and then I could go about my day. But with dabs, like once I started smoking, it was game over. I was stoned out of my mind until it stopped working, like I talked about in this last point here, where I would just smoke and I would just be on the couch. I couldn't move. I was just in like paralysis. And although it was really like relaxing and fun, it didn't yield any positive benefits for the rest of my life. And so those are a couple of the dangers that I thought of today while I was driving around thinking about concentrates and stuff. And guys, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and talk to you soon. Peace. Dabs.